the boy had learned to survive on silence. Every morning, as the sun poured gently over the dusty streets, 14-year-old Karen Hale stood outside Marla's diner pretending to read the faded menu taped to the window. His stomach twisted painfully, but he kept his head down, hoping no one would see the hunger in his eyes. He never begged. He never asked. He simply waited for the moment when the door swung open and the warm scent of fresh bread drifted far enough to numb the ache gnawing inside him. And on this particular morning, fate stood only a few steps away, disguised as a stranger in a spotless suit. If you believe in kindness, compassion, and second chances, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Good Soul to support stories that keep humanity alive. Karen's life had not always been this way, but ever since his father's sudden passing and his mother's long struggle with illness, every day had become a quiet battle. With bills piling up and no relatives willing to help, he found himself wandering the streets of Clearwater City during the daytime, searching for odd jobs, but the world rarely had tasks for a thin, tired boy with worn-out clothes. That was when Marla Jennings, the warm-hearted owner of the diner, began to notice him through her window. She saw the same look he carried in the eyes of her younger brother decades ago, the look of someone fighting to stay invisible because life had made their existence feel like a burden. So each morning, Marla would open the door as if it were a coincidence, pretending she needed help carrying something, wiping the counter, or sorting napkins. She would say, "You're a lifesaver, kid," and then slide a plate of eggs, toast, or soup his way. Karen never took more than he felt he deserved. He always paid in whatever ways he could, wiping tables, delivering orders, organizing shelves, yet he knew the meals were charity disguised as chores. And every day, he whispered a quiet thank you under his breath. One bright afternoon, as sunlight spilled golden rays across the diner booths, a sleek black car pulled up outside. The door opened, revealing Rowan Crestwell, a well-known millionaire entrepreneur whose face often appeared on billboards across the city. He was visiting Clearwater on business and simply needed a quick lunch. But the moment he stepped inside, his eyes fell on the small figure of Karen polishing a stack of plates with the concentration of someone twice his age. Karen didn't know who Rowan was. To him, he was just another customer to serve with dignity, even if he wasn't officially an employee. Rowan watched the boy move quickly between tables, helping Marla without being asked, and something in the boy's posture, in that mix of exhaustion and determination, reminded Rowan of himself when he was young and struggling. Rowan asked Marla about him, and her voice softened as she explained the boy's situation. She didn't dramatize anything, she simply spoke the truth, proud of how hard the boy worked and how much he tried to stand on his own feet. Rowan listened quietly, feeling a weight in his chest he hadn't felt in years. After lunch, Rowan walked to the counter and placed a card down gently. "I'd like to talk to him," he said. But Marla shook her head lightly, saying, "Talk to him gently. He's the kind who folds when spoken to harshly." When Rowan approached, Karen instinctively backed away, afraid he had done something wrong. But Rowan knelt slightly, lowering himself to the boy's eye level. He asked simple questions, not about money, not about pity, just about dreams. And when Karen hesitated, Rowan waited with patience rarely seen in wealthy men. Finally, in a trembling voice, Karen confessed he wanted to study engineering one day, to build machines that could help people like his mother. But he had no money, no resources, and barely enough strength to get through each day. Rowan didn't respond with sympathy. Instead, he extended the same thing he had once been given at the lowest point in his own childhood, a chance. He offered to fund Karen's schooling, daily meals, medical assistance for his mother, and a small stipend for household needs. Karen's vision blurred with tears he tried desperately to hide, because accepting help felt like admitting weakness. But when Marla placed her hand gently on his shoulder and whispered, "This is your moment, sweetheart. Don't run from it," he broke into quiet sobs, finally letting the walls around him fall. Over the next weeks, Rowan became an unspoken guardian in Karen's life. He arranged doctors for his mother, sent tutors to help Karen catch up on missed education, and ensured he never again stood outside the diner with an empty stomach. Marla continued giving him meals, but now she served them with pride rather than worry, watching him sit at a booth with textbooks instead of fatigue. And one sunny afternoon, as Rowan prepared to leave Clearwater again, Karen ran up to him outside the diner. With a trembling voice, he said, "One day, I'll help someone the way you helped me." Rowan smiled, knowing the boy would do far more than that. Kindness, when placed in the right hands, never ends where it begins, it multiplies.